Hello? Good morning. All right, let's try that again. I know it's early. Some of you have not seen 8 o'clock in a very long time. Ryan Meyer? Absolutely. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3. Good morning. All right, welcome to the 2017 ACM. So I see a lot of familiar faces that I haven't seen for a while and a lot of new faces, probably 60 plus since the beginning of this year. So I am Katie Kuckendorfer, and I'm in our Covington location, and I'm part of the project management work group, one of the project management work groups, and I sit right by Christy Carr. So she and I are talking one day, and she asked me, as we were prepping for the ACM, she said, "Do you want to have a role in the ACM?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And typically I only, listen to partially what she says anyway on a daily basis. So I really didn't know what I was getting into. And then she said, "Okay, you're going to be the MC. You're going to be the first MC." And I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Yes, this is what you agreed to do." So lesson learned for next year. When it comes around for the ACM prep time and Christy Carr is talking to you, you better listen. All right. Could I get the following people to stand up? Kate Citron. Katie Fry. Katie Fogarty. Catherine Lee. Katrin McCoy. Caitlin Roby. And Kathy Sawyer. All right, so there are 8 of us, right, with a derivation of the name Kathleen or Catherine. So as you're mingling today and this evening, and if you yell Kate or Kath, chances are somebody's going to turn around and answer you. Okay, so let's get through some housekeeping. The restrooms, as we came in today, and we're at the table, so they're to the far back there, and I believe there's some on that side too. Is that correct, Christy? Okay, and parking. I know we've heard a lot about parking recently, but if you were not paying attention to your emails or drove today, please make sure that you move your car if you've parked in the ballpark under garage, because there's a risk that you will be towed otherwise. You might have seen some people walking around with video cameras today, and they're part of Drive Media House. So they will be filming us throughout the day, so be careful what we do and what we say, people. But some of that will be used for our internal and external communications. Yes, Carrie Chick. Social media. So this year we're asking everybody to use hashtag Tier1Fun as we're taking pics throughout the day, posting on our Instagram and Twitter accounts. So make sure you're doing that. And our pictures that you're taking throughout the day, they're going to be displayed in the handlebar room. So one of the other rooms that we have, and they'll be on monitors. So let's start taking them early and throughout the day. Also this week, Anna Wolf sent out an email about how we're partnering with the Red Cross to help with hurricane relief. So there is a microsite, and we're encouraging Tier 1ers and our friends, our families, our organizations, and even our clients to help and to donate. So please refer people to the microsite. Our goal is to reach $20,000, and if we do so, Tier 1 is going to match the first $10,000. So we're going analog mostly, and on your tables will be a Tier 1 journal. So what we're asking you to do today we're encouraging you to write it down, some reflections, your thoughts, sketches, any doodling. They're yours to keep, so just make sure that you're using those today. Also, today, if there's any questions that you have, or if you need help with anything, the ACM core team members are wearing t-shirts. So Christy Carr, raise your hand. Anyone in a t-shirt like that? I know Sarah Erschwender has one on, Bree. Just see them, and they can help you with any questions that you have. All right, so now I feel like a mom going through all the logistics and the housekeeping things, but let's get to the interactive part, our first activity for the day. I need everybody to take out their phones, and we're gonna actually answer this question on Mentimeter. So what is the one word that best describes how you are feeling right this moment? So log into Mentimeter.com. Menti.com, MENTI.com, and our code is 477302. 477302. Four 7302. Who said overwhelmed? Maybe Christy Carr, I don't know. Excited. I didn't put that, but I feel ridiculous in this headband, for real. But cool. Tired. Ready? All right. We're going to be using that throughout the day, and thank you for participating. One other thing I forgot to mention, we are going to be taking a lot of breaks today. It's going to be a long day, and we're very excited. It's filled with activities, but there will be drinks, food available, snacks available throughout the day. We're going to have a box lunch, so you're able to take that throughout the rooms and even outside in the outside seating area. But we are not to be roaming on the ballpark or on the field. Brian Lapthorne, please remember that last part. Nobody is going on the field, and reminder to Brian not to do so. Okay, we're going to start with our SMOF, Shared Moment of Fun. So this is our first one that we're doing, and we'll have those throughout the day, so other MCs will be presenting those as well. The first one is, you're so tier one if you have corrected people at parties who think you work for Pier 1 Imports. Now, I know you've done it. I've done it. People in your life ask you to start saying but again instead of and all the time. This is my personal favorite. You open the fridge at work to find there's more alcohol than food and other beverages combined. As an owner comes out of your mouth at least once a week. You hear someone complain about working at another company and think, I bet they could use a little tier one. You can still say, that's what she said, with coworkers and get away with it. In a public place with fellow tier oneers, you've been asked, is your company called Tier 1 or Tier Fun? Your Pulse has a weekly podcast and, as of August, multiple product placements. Your immediate response to questions is, great question. I know my husband's sick of me saying that one. You use nice call-outs so often that saying while making dinner plans with friends doesn't seem weird. You're afraid to dance at company meetings because you know Matt Sioka will be there. And you cannot beat that. You can't. We're hoping to see a little bit of that later. Okay. You can give a sanitized explanation of what pure romance is without skipping a beat or blushing, right? You're actually excited when the CEO comes back to work. Woo! You've been here only 2 years, and that makes you a veteran because half the company has been hired after you. And you can't explain to anyone what you do for a living, so it's impossible for them to understand why you love it so much. So the Covington office started with Norm, Kevin, and Greg in September of 2002. And within 8 years, we grew 533%. So 16 people from that point through June 2010 joined the company, and their names are listed there. And that's just, if you think about it, 533% in the last 8 years that we've grown. It's amazing. So now I have just some funny things about the early Tier 1 Covington days that you may know and you may not know. So there's a closet, 3 desks, and half a wall. So Erin Mann, stand up. Where are you? There she is. You know what I'm talking about here. So 2 buildings ago, we had an office, Fifth and Madison, and I walked in on my first day, and literally it was no bigger than a walk-in closet, and there was a desk facing one wall, another desk facing the other wall. Erin was on one wall, and there was a contractor we were working with. And then I got the desk that was at the half wall. So everybody that needed to use the restroom would walk down the stairs, and they would go down the stairs and peer over top of my desk. So that was just very odd. The early bird gets a desk, and the late riser gets the couch. So we didn't have desks for everybody that day. So if you got to work early enough, you were able to get a seat with a desk. Otherwise, you worked on the couch for the day. Who needs a moving company, right? So when we were moving from that building to the Oddfellows building there on 5th and Madison, we packed our boxes up, our phones, our monitors, and put them on our desk chair. And we proceeded out the door on Madison through 5th Street and just rolled all the stuff to the new building. So with a bunch of Tier 1ers and rolling chairs, who needs movers? 1 phone and 3 girls. So Anna Oscaris and Erin Mann, stand up. So we all didn't have our phone, or a phone back then. So the 3 of us shared 1 phone. The learning team moonlights as tech support. So Erin Mann and I worked on a client of ours back then, American Society of Quality, and used our Performance One platform. And we provided technical support. So Erin and I play the role of tech support. I know it's hard to believe. And Eric Loader, don't come seeking us out to join the tech team, but we were that support, and we did that sometimes at night or on the weekends. And if you can believe it or not, there were no EMs or PMs. We didn't have that concept yet. We were called solution delivery managers. So EMs and PMs came much later. And there was a new baker in town. So I like to bake treats for people and bring them into work and make people feel good, and didn't make anything fancy. Brownies, cookies, maybe the occasional carrot cake. And then we hired this person named Scarlett Meadows. So she would bring in these beautifully decorated cupcakes, exotic flavors, lemon poppy seed with raspberry filling and chocolate ganache. And then everybody, when I would bring something in, like, oh, did Scarlett make something too? When is Scarlett bringing something? So good thing she left now and she's in the Pittsburgh office, so. I'll bake again now that she's gone. So at this point, I'd like to introduce somebody, our very first Tier 1er, and that is only because Kevin was late to the very first meeting. So I'd like to introduce the one, the only, Norm Desmaris.
All right. I think I'm like. Before I get started, I need a selfie with this wonderful, wonderful group of people. So turn this around. Come on, phone. Here we go. Oh, come on. Tech support, where are you? Ah, there we are. Tech support. Ready, everyone? Over here, smile. You. Over here, smile. Over here, smile. All right. Thank you, guys. And I was told not to go on that side of the screen because I won't be in the camera. There we go. Katie, thanks for that. Gosh, reminiscing many years ago. Boy, this company's changed quite a bit, and you didn't give me the clicker either. Thank you. Right button. All right. Good morning. We've said that already. Cool. 15 years ago, my gosh, things have changed so much in 15 years, as you can imagine. Katie was reminiscing a few of the things, but actually to this day, Tier 1 will never hire a moving company to move. It's just not part of our culture. Everybody can get their chairs, put their stuff on the chairs, and take it with them. That caused a lot of bruises, bumps, and hospital visits early on in the company. But gosh, 15 years ago, think about that. 15 years ago, our own Kerry Zion was 25 years old. Happy birthday. Okay. 15 years ago, Emily Mell was on a school bus to first grade. Yeah, it's true. 15 years ago, Brian Lapthorne was in diapers. But he'll be in diapers again later tonight. 15 years ago, Brad Knieven's hair was still perfectly straight. And 15 years ago, Terry Faber was exactly as he is today. Anyhow, it's been a great, great ride, and my gosh, starting this a long time ago, we didn't envision, I don't know what we envisioned. We also always envisioned doing something good for the world. And so we talk about three dudes, that would be Kevin, myself, and Greg, 2 desks and 1 phone. By the way, both desks were from Office Depot. They cost a combined like $60 each, and we assembled them ourselves. And so we had one office, and actually back then we had 1 phone too that kind of traveled with us, and that was went from there to about 20 people with that 1 phone. Katie Kukendorfer, you're right. There's always been one phone in Tier 1. I had to run it from office to office. But you know, back then we played a lot of roles. Katie just alluded to that as well. It's just kind of funny. You do what you have to do, right, when you start a business. When you're an owner of a business, you do whatever it takes. And so back then, the roles that we played, there's only 3 of us, so it wasn't too complicated, but we owned the company, we managed the company, we sold everything, we managed the work we sold, and we did the actual work delivering the work. So the quality wasn't very high back then because, you know, it was me and Kevin. Greg has always been good, so his quality was high. But nonetheless, over time, our roles had to change, right? And so as part of an evolution, you know, we added more and more people. And so, boy, that's a lot of people. But as things changed, you know, we basically changed our roles. So it got to a point where we'd manage the company. We would probably still do the selling. We may manage some business, but we got out of the delivery side. Anne-Marie Ireland, you're very happy when I got out of delivery. I remember that very clearly. But then we went from there and we would manage the business. We'd still sell the work, and we didn't manage anything after that. And then we'd just manage the business. And then from there, actually, now we've got so many people doing so many different roles. We're not even doing that anymore, except for Greg. But Kevin and I have now, you know, progressed on to getting into a different role within the company. But these roles, you all play many of these roles today, and you will continue to do. As I said, now that you're owners, so being an owner of a company, lots of roles for you to fulfill. So part of those roles is the owners. You're the owners now, which is fantastic, right? All right. So I think your statements went out yesterday, tomorrow, today, but they're coming out. But when our statements came out when we owned it, it was a negative value of the company. So you guys have a much better company than we did back then. But again, various roles. But we have a board now, a formal board. And so what I want to do today is, so many of you are so new. Actually, raise your hands if you've never met me. Okay, not too many of you. Good. Raise your hands if you weren't here last year. 60 up. Keep your hands up. Raise your hands if you weren't here the year before. Yeah. So if this place has changed dramatically. Oh, you know, just a little tidbit. By the way, this is I'm not sure how many all-company meetings we've had, probably 10 or so. But if you remember the early days when there were 3 of us, every meeting was an all-company meeting. We had a lot of them every week. But anyway, so roles have changed and the company has evolved, and basically now we're just one big team. And that team includes all those functions and roles that all of us play today, but includes a formalized board. When we became an ESOP, we literally had to legitimize the board. So it was Kevin, Greg, and me, and I was saying, okay, well, that's not really that much board. But now we've introduced Mark Thompson. So Mark Thompson is sitting right here, and we've asked him to join us today. If you don't know Mark, Mark is a very talented individual. He's been with Aileron for several years. Many of us know him. He's been here coaching, mentoring our company. He's learned about us. He knows our culture. He fits in as if he were here day one. Mark also has some special skills, something to do with being able to cross one eye, not the other one at the same time. But he's got other things. But invite you guys to spend some time and meet with Mark and the board today. Also, I'll tell you, Kevin is not here, unfortunately. He was, Hurricane Irma was some kind of an excuse, and I don't know, power was out. But the good news for Kevin and all of you is his boats weren't destroyed. So, but Kevin has been a great board member and a great member of Tier 1, of course. He's one of our founders, but he's sorry he couldn't be here today, and I wish he were, because he's just an incredible, incredible guy. So meet your board today. We'll be happy to chat with you. Talk to you a little bit about what we do, and so for the most part, it's not that complicated. We're looking out for the next 15 years, okay? That's our job. What is this place going to do and be in the next several years, and help guide the organization towards those strategic endeavors? So realizing our vision and just maximizing our value. So get to know us. Enjoy today. We have extra drink tickets if you need, so thank you.
Thank you, Norm. Do I smell? All right, it's the 2017 ACM Team Spirit Awards. Now, we did this last year for the first time. There we go. All right, thanks again. And it was such a big hit that we decided to do again, and I can already tell that I think people have gone above and beyond this year. So our judges this year will be the board. It'll be Mark, if you didn't know that already, Mark, you're going to be a judge. Norm and Greg are going to be judging us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to announce by groups who they are. So when I announce you, I want you to stand up. Whatever you guys are going to do it together in unison, and then I'll announce the next group. Some of the groups are separate. Yes. Did everybody find their group? All right. All right. We're going to start with Project Management Work Group number 2. Yo, where's my ESS? All right, Business Development Group number 1. That's Jack Calhoun's group. Ah, very nice. Profits and revenue. Yeah. All right. Communications group with Ty Lee. Very cute. Instructional design number 2. All right. Business development number 2, a group with Jenny Gunther. We could have used some of that camo that you got on. Government and research. Sorry. Oh. Instructional design number 3. Woo! Market services. Oh, we get treats. Very nice. That's cute. Learning and talent. Instructional design number 4. Integrated solution design. Instructional design number 1. It's adorable. Rapid authoring. Oh, you dropped it. Software development 1. Software development 2. Change management 2. right. People Services with Christina Masali. All right. Project Management number 1. Figures Terry Faber was in that group. Oh, Terry. Change Management number 3. And you also make a mess. Business Operations 2. You might need to move there, Carrie. That's good. Change Management number 1. Change Management number 4. Oh. There you go. That's pretty quick there, Annie, on that boot. Aww. Business Operations number 3. Corey's group. Right here. Or change management number 1. Oh, sorry. Visual design 1. Business ops 4. So that's Greg, Norm, Karen. All right. Brian, Jerry. No improv? All right. All right, visual design number 2. It's good. All right, so we need the board to make a decision. Think about it. Talks amongst yourselves. Thank you. I love that.
So we're picking how many?
3.
Okay, we got them.
Third.
Great job.
Erica has gift cards. We're going to do third and second first. Do you want me to bring them to him, or do you want to give them to him?
Come on up.
Okay.
CN2, Biz Ops 2.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I think we have the winners. We'll give you one more minute to finish up your picks. All right, we have Norm. It's going to announce the winners of our Team Spirit contest.
Thank you, Katie. In my mind, you're all winners. That was fantastic. This stuff is always hard to judge. So anyway, you're all winners in my mind, and because of that, you're all going to get a paycheck next week. So that's good. But something more important than that are these fine gifts that you're about to get here in a moment here. But so anyway, without further ado, our third place finishing team, which was fantastic. That sounds like a Donald Trump thing. Never mind. Third place team is SD1. Eric is going to hand out your certificates. All right. Congratulations, the gnomes. Our second place team, Change Management 2. All right. In the moment we've all been waiting for, and the team that did something that no one else has ever been able to do is get money out of Greg's hands, BD2. Thank you, everybody. This was fantastic. Got a lot of nice photographs, and I appreciate the team spirit.
Thank you, Norm. Thank you, board, for judging. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to the one, the only, the fabulous Dr. Mike Devine.
Yes, the one, the only. Could the following people please stand up? Mike Baccalucci. Michael Cottrell. Mike Dermody, he's in Wisconsin. Michael Gibney. Mike Fortin. And Mike Hasselbeck. And raise your hand if you've ever gotten an email directed to a different Mike in the company. Very good. Okay. There are 7 of us, just so you know, so make sure you get the right one. Thank you. Okay. Yes, we have a raffle. So what is this raffle for?
So if you did the Did It survey, we're pulling 15 throughout the day, but we're gonna pull 5 now. And it's for $50 to the Tier 1 store for logo wear. So you'll get it after today. All right.
Okay. How many?
Kinda stuck.
How many?
5.
5.
They stick
Okay.
out, so you have to pull them apart.
Oh, jeez.
Didn't think it through.
And our first winner is Jenna Meek.
Keep track of it.
And then our second winner is. Wow. Those are really nice Post-it notes. Teresa Newman. Winner number 3. Jen Price. Congratulations. Winner number 4. Melissa Acuna. Did I say that right? And winner number 5. But we're all winners, right? Isn't that what Norm said? Harrison Withers. Very good. All right. Very good. Yeah, so I'm Mike Devine. I'm on the learning team in Pittsburgh. Been with Tier 1 since 2010, since Motion Plan got bought, which we're going to go through in just a moment. So we're going to do another Smoff, which is a shared moment of fun. It sounds like an off-brand Smurf, but it's a shared moment of fun. So our next one is what Greg did during his sabbatical. So if you remember, we posted these ideas to Yammer. So these are our top ones. Number 15, got ripped and grew a full beard like J.K. Simmons. Number 14, discovered that what goes into making a great brewery is a lot like what goes into making Tier 1 great. A blend of business, art, and science, and a lot of beer. Number 13, monitoring us via the cameras he secretly installed around the offices. Number 12, developed a model to track his children's utilization rates. Very good. Very good. I'd like to see that spreadsheet, if you wouldn't mind sharing it. Number 11, binge-watched Real Housewives, Glee, Lost, Gilmore Girls, and more Real Housewives. Number 10, started writing his new book. Are you there, Bourbon? It's me, Greg. Number 9, was seen near the Tier 1 Covington location muttering something about the Dharma Initiative and how there should be an apostrophe in Butler's Pantry. I can look over here too. Number 8, took some spelunking classes. That's cave exploring for those of you who aren't on the learning team. Took some spelunking classes, discovered the chopped and screwed music genre, and reclaimed the Guinness World Record for longest mustache. Saucy. And more binge watching. Binge watched Breaking Bad and better understands the whole shaved head with a goatee trend. Very good. Started 3 new companies in his spare time. Oh, wait, that's what Norm would be doing. Number 5, did an Eat, Pray, Love personal reflection journey. Only instead of Italy, India, and Indonesia, he went to Delhi, Price Hill, and Cleves. Became president of the Fiona fan club. Very good. Recorded an EP with DJ Profit Margin entitled Slow Jammin'. Very good. I didn't know that was coming. That's good. Sabbatical? What sabbatical? I've been working my ass off since I left. PTO is paid time online. And number 1, seriously, have you guys heard of Netflix? It's amazing. Okay. Very good. What am I doing next? All right, so that was our, what was it called? SMOF. That's right, very good. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is a little bit of Tier 1 history. And since I'm from Pittsburgh, I'm going to talk a little bit about the history of the Pittsburgh office. So Pittsburgh started out as a little company called Motion Plan. Represent Motion Plan. All right, so when I started there actually with Motion Plan at the very end of 2005. I was an employee number 9. And you can tell that because the last digit of my phone number is 9. So a little insight into the mind of Jim Finello there. And so I think we were 11 or 12 people. There's 7 of us that are still with Tier 1. But now we're 43. And you can see all of the people we've got there. So we've gone from 11 or 12 to 43. So just tremendous growth. But I mean, even that group of people that we had, the few of us, still have a lot of some of the things we're going to talk about. Interesting things to know about our location are things that kind of started back then, but are still going on. So we've got 2 locations. We've got downtown and Cranberry. Some interesting things to know about our downtown location is that you should do your dishes. You should really do your dishes. Right, Leah Hanley? Yes? We're very serious about not leaving dishes in the sink. In fact, there's a communication strategy built around this that includes flyers as well as reminders and a job aid. Drink water and bond with your team. The downtown team engages in team hydration with audible prompts supplied by ambulance and fire truck sirens. And by the way, people have great skin because of all the water they drink downtown. Seriously, if you see David Bach, just feel his face. It's really, really cool. Think like an owner. We buy and sell office items on Craigslist. True story. All right, what else we got here? Think global, buy local. Oh, isn't that cute? Thursdays between May and October, you will almost always find most or all of us, all of the office at the farmer's market. And birthdays are happy occasions. If you've ever been to Pittsburgh, there's a good chance that you had cake. We celebrate all team birthdays, including the office dog, Tilly the Chow. Some habits are hard to change. The paper towels fall into the sink every time you try to use them. And one last thought to keep everyone guessing. Queso fountain. All right. Very good. Just think about that. Just conceive of that for a second. Okay, so both offices downtown in Cranberry eat lunch together each and every workday, and we love cake. Like I said, we love cake. We celebrate birthdays in good style and make the birthday boy or girl serve their own cake. Okay, pranking each other on vacation. Oh, that was a good one. With we win awards, and of course, friendship funerals. Very good. Who wants to explain friendship funerals? Okay. But that's for a few beers later. Okay, so the next thing that was Tier 1 Pittsburgh. So now we're going to start what's been a tradition here for a few years, and these are Tier 1 talks. These are talks in the style of TED Talks, where somebody comes up and talks for a few minutes about something that they've really got a passion for. That could be something that's related to something here at work. It could be something in their personal lives. It could be about obscure movements of planets. It could be about all kinds of different things. So it's very interesting. And the first person that we have is Ryan Meyer, and his topic is #humblebrag.
Is this better? How we doing? Good? All right. I am here to talk about my favorite topic, myself. But first, I'm going to need a little participation from everyone in the room. So anytime you see a slide like this, I'm going to need a big... Oh, sorry, didn't know that was there. First, a quick definition for everyone. I'm going to need some participation from everyone in the room. So anytime you see a slide that looks like this, I'm going to need a big... Excellent. All right. Let's try a few more here. These should be familiar.
I bring my whole self to work. I trust generously. I embrace the tension of the head.
All right. I was born in 1978 and raised in Grand Slick, Kentucky. I went to St. Mary's Grade School and Bishop Brossard High School. I got a full scholarship to the University of Cincinnati, where I co-op for a lot of great technology companies. And afterwards, worked for some local companies before 9 years ago, coming to Tier 1. I've served many project roles, a lot of great clients, internal roles, advising roles, advising dozens of people. And now I'm on a great solution services team with an amazing group of peers. That feels good. And you are too. I mean, you wouldn't be here if you weren't successful. Every single one of you could have had the same slide because you're all smart, you're all ambitious, and you're all great at what you do. I was born in 1978 in Grand Slick, Kentucky. I was supposed to skip to third grade, but my parents and I thought that might be a little much. I was valedictorian and got great ACT and SAT scores, and I could have gone to any school in the country, but I was a little too afraid to leave home, so I only applied to 2. Ones that I could commute to from home. I co-op for Sun Microsystems, one of the best companies in Silicon Valley during the dot-com boom. They offered me a job right out of school. But I was a little afraid to move across the country, so I stayed to work for some local companies. 9 years ago, I came to Tier 1. A lot of great project roles. Talent Plus was one of my first clients. We went so over budget, largely because of me, that I still think I got the engagement manager fired. Your legacy experience went so poorly that the client actually threatened litigation. I've led millions of dollars of research work for the Air Force Research Lab, and not a single bit of it is being used by an end user. On the last Macy's project, I did such a poor job helping to lead our design that I abandoned our team in development. They worked nights and weekends while I moved on. I was first made product manager at Tier 1 in 2012. I didn't accomplish a damn thing. They gave me the opportunity to have the same role in 2016, and we still haven't sold any product. I'm an awful career advisor. My team members don't come to me for advising because I really don't think I help them. I'll never be as enlightened as Jim, as productive as Danielle. I can't keep up with Dustin. And even though I look up to Jerry, a lot of times I feel like I just disappoint him. That one hurts. I lied before. This isn't a humble brag. This is a confession. I'm a failure. I fail all the time, more often than not. And there's so many ways to fail. You can try your hardest and not do good enough. You can mess up your priorities and not take time for what matters for other people or for yourself. Or you can be afraid. You can be afraid to take a risk, to do something great because you might fail. I'm so afraid of screwing up. You're all smart people. I don't want to screw up. And the more responsibility I have, the harder it gets. Because now when I screw up, it's not just me. It's whole projects, or whole teams, or whole clients, or every owner in this room. But I need to be strong, and I need to be confident because I'm a leader, and I'm a consultant. And I have a very carefully curated persona of being confident and funny and cantankerous. But I'm just like everyone else.
I am vulnerable.
Sorry. Need to get my notes. We can't wear those masks all the time. We have to be there for each other. We have to let each other know that it's okay to fail, and it's okay to be afraid to fail. I'm not a perfect person at work because I'm not a perfect person. And
I bring my whole self to work.
I had all this down. We all bring our whole selves to work, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, so retirement do us part. Amen. And there's only one thing that makes all this work. I need you to trust me, that I'm doing as good as I can. And when I screw up, it's not that I didn't try, and I'm going to try to learn from it. Sorry. The most I can do is to offer that same trust to all of you. I am a success, and I am a failure, and I always have been, and I always will be. But that's okay because
I embrace the tension of the end.
that's it. Thank you.
Forwarded. Ready?
Thank you very much, Ryan, for being very vulnerable. Very good. So next up, we have Christy Carr, and Christy is going to be talking about creativity, connecting the space between.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, great. So I'm going to talk a little bit about bringing creativity to life, and this seemed like a good idea before I had the whole ACM thing in front of me, so I'm hoping I do all right. I believe strongly that we come into the world with 3 gifts: an immense capacity to love, a deep desire to form connections, and innate ability to create. And along the way, we experience interference. And it can come in a variety of ways, from how you were brought up to hardships that you've had, but interference, right? Big and small. And I believe that there's a way that we can navigate through this interference back to those 3 main qualities: love, connection, and creativity. The primary way is through creativity. A few years before I joined Tier 1, I was working as an associate professor, and I had the opportunity to compete for a sabbatical, and I won one. And it was a whole year off, 2/3 salary, and I had a whole lot of plans for the sabbatical. And it didn't go very well. First month in, I was like, it's okay, I just need to decompress. Second month in, started to get a little panicked. Like, oh, better get on that. I'm supposed to be making work. I'm supposed to be connecting what I do to teaching. What am I going to do? Dilemma number 1. What am I going to do? Where do I begin? I don't even know where to begin because I don't know what I want to do. Then there was this second unexpected dilemma that I didn't anticipate, and that was I loved teaching. It wasn't the subject matter as much as it was I got to talk every day to people about what they do and why they do it and why it matters. And helping people find that inner voice and vision was something that I connected to in a way I didn't understand until I went on sabbatical. And there was no way for me to get my fix. So dilemma 1 and dilemma 2 sent me into a pretty bad depression. And that depression was the sinking quality. Like, oh my gosh, time is going by. I'm not going to be able to get out of it. The longer it went, the harder it got. And I started connecting to this thought, what's wrong with you? So I'm going to go back a little bit. When I was in kindergarten, I would get sent to the green chair in the front of the room a lot. I like to help people. So for me, like, kindergarten was easy peasy lemon squeezy. Like, you need me to cut you a circle, I can cut you a circle. You want to know the colors, I got them down. Alphabet, done, right? But it wasn't that way for everyone. And so the people in my class would have problems, like they didn't know how to hold their scissors, or they were having trouble writing their letters. And I never want to take work away from people because I believe that there's a purpose to the struggle. But if I have something that can help someone else, I am compelled. It's just who I am to help. And so I would help, and I would be told to stop. And I couldn't help myself because they seem like arbitrary rules. And, and then I would hear, what is wrong with you, Christy? Go to the front of the room and sit on the green chair. And even from the green chair, I couldn't help myself. I'd be like, no, hold your scissors. If you, like, no, not this finger, this finger. Like, Christy, what is wrong with you? Take the chair outside. So this narrative of what is wrong with you became what is wrong with me. And I'm sitting there in a sabbatical sinking into a depression because I don't know what to do and I don't know where to go. And I don't have any, like, connection to people. So I started thinking something is wrong with me. Then one day I was watching The Big Bang Theory, you know, because what else am I going to do? And Sheldon Cooper, one of the stars of the show, talks about this word Weltschmerz. And he defined it as a depression that arises from comparing the world as it is, or the depression that arises from comparing the world as it is to a hypothetical or idealized world. And I went, huh. Okay, so what is this Weltschmerz thing? Because I think I got that. I think that's what's going on, is I have a depression because I think it's going to go one way, and it's not, and it's like this other way. And so I realized, like, oh my God, that's why I'm stuck, right? Something is wrong with me. That's the place that I'm in. And I've got this other place, right? And it's how I imagined it to be. And I'm going back and forth between that continuum, right? Like, I'm here because I can't get there. I don't do well with binary conditions, yes, no, right, wrong. I don't do it. I'm a contextualist. I need some space to move around in. So Weltschmerz gave me a different perspective. It pulled me up and out of that continuum of good, bad, right, wrong. And so when I mapped that, because that's one of the things I love to do, it gave me a space to move within. I read this really amazing book a few years ago by Lewis Hyde called Gift. It's called Art and the Erratic Life of Property, but they've changed the subtitles since. But it's all about this idea of a gift economy, right? And the primary purpose of it is the gift must move, right? I had a place to move in. So I recognize that there's purpose to the struggle, and the gift must always move. So I turned myself into the student, and I started doing with me what I would have done with my students. And I started asking 5 questions. Who are you? What do you believe? What do you do? How do you do it? And why does it matter? If you can answer those questions, you're in good shape. Then I started going back and thinking about pivotal moments, things that changed my life, for good or bad, right? Pivotal moments. And then I started thinking about my influences. What am I influenced by? What are the things that sit with me all of the time? I still needed to get that fix. Right? Little bit of a junkie when it comes to that. I need people. So a friend asked me this question, what would you regret having not done at the end of your sabbatical? I was like, oh, well, that's easy. I'd like to find a way to bring creativity to life. I'd like to find a way to engage in these kinds of conversations all of the time, and not just when I'm teaching art to art students, because I don't think it's limited to that place. So bring creativity to life started rolling around in my head. Bring creativity to life, bring creativity to life. This whole idea that I can attach voice and vision to creativity outside of the classroom and just into everybody's lives every day. And so these workshops became a consulting organization. I hate calling it a business because I've never really made a profit. Anna Wolf and the money people over there. But it has paybacks in other ways, right? I get my fix and I help people and they feel good and they go out into the world and they make other people feel good. So I created Broad-Minded, bringing creativity to life. And I run creativities and I run creativitinis. And creativities are one-on-one coaching sessions that happen during the day, like coffee or tea. They can be lunch. They can be groups that get together. And then creativitinis happen in the evening because sometimes it's better when you have a drink in your hand. And so you're probably thinking to yourself, this is great, Christy. Why does this matter, right? And I want to make that connection. So as owners, right, we know innovation drives growth. And we want to grow as a company because it helps us all. Creativity fuels innovation. If we can connect to our creativity and find a way to harness that, we can innovate like nobody else. And each person in here has that ability. Creativity isn't something that's relegated or held over here for special people. We all come into the world with it. And as individuals, we all have an immense capacity to love. And we have a deep desire to form connections. And we all have an innate ability to create. And so what I'd like to do is I'd like to bring this creativity coaching to Tier 1. And I will be sending out an email next week after I recover from the ACM for sign-up times. We all have a couple of hours every week. So if you want to meet one-on-one, that's great. I'll set up some times where we can get together. You can have a cohort, another one of my favorite words. And we'll just see what happens, right? It's like my little experiment. So I want to encourage everybody here to go broad-minded and to bring creativity to your life. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Christy. All right, so one more before we move on to the next topic, and it's Diamond Rembert here to talk about the power of positivity.
Everyone, so excited. Okay, so I'm kind of gonna jump right in, but oh, yeah, very. Okay, so when I think of positivity, I think of the most favorable outcome, something that I really want. It's something that I've decided okay, this is the bright side of the overall whatever it is, okay? But I didn't always think of it like that. I was not always the person that immediately went to your brightest, happiest thought. I was actually the opposite. And it wasn't until I realized, kind of a significant moment in my life, that I realized I needed to change. I was going into my senior year of college, and I got a call from my brother at work, and he told me that my mom had 3 brain aneurysms, 2 which were very close to bursting. I was terrified. I thought I was going to lose my mother before she was ever going to see me graduate from college. I thought I'd have to move home, take care of my family. All of these thoughts just started rushing through my head. And I wasn't really focused on the positive. I was really focused on the negative. And it wasn't until I saw my mother's resilience to what was going on that I realized I really should be more positive. And her mindset is always, you've got to see the bright side. Don't look at the negative. There's always something more. There's a better side to it. But you have to trust in that. And that happens when you decide to change your mindset. It's all a mindset. So what if I told you that just changing your mindset a little bit could give you these health benefits? Increase your lifespan, lower rates of depression, provide lower levels of distress. There's so many ways that just changing your mindset and thinking differently have benefits on our actual life. And it really made me make that connection with my mom. Every time she recovers, whatever it is, she has to have open heart surgery next. And she's just going. She's not stopping. She's not afraid. She's not negative. She just keeps going. And I honestly think it's because of her positive thinking and it's her positive mindset. So this is a quote that I've kind of come up with that I feel embodies what being positive means to me. When you have a positive mindset, you can make a positive impact. Only you have the decision to change. It's all on you. No one else is going to try and change your mind. Unfortunately, it would be great if I could make everyone positive, but that's not the way it works. So there's a few little things that you can do to get yourself in that mindset. So you can practice gratitude. Practicing just saying thank you, responding to people. I always feel like gratitude is not just saying thank you. It's sometimes just being having a reciprocated emotion or feeling. And that's something that we really need to remember to do. The next one, letting go of perfection. It's the greatest thing you could ever do. Letting go of the fact that you are not perfect is so liberating. And I really encourage you to do that because it's very powerful. And also, it's just a reminder that, we're not perfect at all, but we learn from each other's mistakes and we learn from ours. And as long as you're striving to do better, you're already halfway there. And last but not least, I like to say creating positive self-talk. This is a huge one. It's when you get up in the morning and you're getting ready and you're looking at your face, it's not calling out those negative things about yourself or, oh God, I haven't been at the gym for like 3 weeks, or it's not calling those things out. It's really just saying, I'm who I am. I'm going to live in my essence. I'm going to be my best self. I'm so capable of accomplishing everything. And that's what it's all about. It's boosting yourself. So before I end, I just wanted to say, take this with you. And someone said this to me a while ago, and it was, whatever team you're on is better because you are on it. Everything that you have to bring your best self all the time. And it's hard. It's really hard, and I'm learning. But I'm getting closer to what I think is where I want to be. And I hope that you all get closer to where you want to be.
So thanks to Ryan, Christy, and Diamond for sharing those all 3 really personal stories. One more round of applause for that group of Tier 1ers. Thank you. So next on our schedule, we're going to start talking about awards. And so you probably remember getting a message to go out and vote for and nominate for people for awards. So that we've got a few awards to present today. So it's time to get hyped, right? All right. So to give us a little bit of context behind these awards, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to invite somebody else up here. Back from his cabin in the woods, the one, the only, our CEO, Greg Harmeyer.
I don't even know what I'm doing. Some things haven't changed. The awards in general. Thank you. Yeah, so excited to get our awards started. We started these, Norm said before, this is our 10th year doing a all-company meeting in this format. And I actually think the awards go back before that. And it was our way of trying to say, man, we work with so many high-performing people. And just we're incredibly blessed to be around so much talent. But there are people during a given year that you work with that you just want to call out. And when I say you, I mean literally you want to call out and give special attention to. And so that's what these kind of originate from. They're a way of kind of saying people who just had a year where they went above and beyond in some way and want to give them that special recognition. So they've always meant a lot. And when we introduce them, we've often shown who's won them in the past because it's helpful to see kind of examples of who's done what as we've grown and set a tone for us. So that's what Tier 1 Awards are about. They've grown. We've continued to add to them. And I think we're going to introduce a number of them throughout the day here. So what is our first one, Mike?
So our first one, we're going to have Brad and Noah come up and talk about the client.
All right. Brad and Noah, come on up.
Bob the Builder. Developer, get it? Development. Yeah. Oh, right.
Do you want to read this or the names?
I'll read this. Go ahead and read that.
All right, this is the Tier 1 Client Excellence Award. This award goes to the individual who consistently delivers exceptional service, quality, and value to our clients as measured by our clients' feedback, the opportunity for continued relationships, and the quality of client relationships with Tier 1. And this year's winner is
Caitlin Roby.
Caitlin Roby. Moved all the way across the country to join Tier 1. Just a few minutes, just hang out with me for a minute. Okay. No, Caitlin has had quite a year, actually. She spent a year and a half up at Cintas, where she barely came in the office and we barely saw her, us. She got this incredible relationship built up there. We now have really a terrific client account up there. We're continuing to grow and learn, and she's just bringing that back. She's now coaching and mentoring others. She's a work group manager. So, this is a great example of somebody who is realizing their potential. And from a value perspective, she's a great Tier 1er. So, what a tribute to Caitlin. She's had a interesting year of weddings and some really crisis items as well. So we're just delighted to give this award to Caitlin.
And I want to add, this really spans a couple of years. When Caitlin first went out to Cintas, I think she was a bit scared, a bit uncertain about being out there on her own, working on a very high-profile customer. The president of the business unit got directly involved, super high exposure, and she went after it anyway with an incredible amount of courage. And that client absolutely loves Tier 1 and loves Caitlin and loves Tier 1 because of Caitlin's work. So it's just a really cool story to see you step up and do that. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Yep, so our next award up is the Leadership Award, and we're going to have Eric Loader and Carrie Headley come up to present that.
Sure. You want to read it?
Okay, the Tier 1 Leadership Award. This award goes to the person who significantly impacts the work and lives of others through leadership and demonstration of all Tier 1's core values.
All right.
Ready? You want to
drum roll?
Little drum roll.
Come on, guys.
And the winner of the Tier 1 Leadership Award is
Leah McKinnon.
Leah McKinnon.
Leah McKinnon has earned this award. She is leading in our Denver market. Got to give you a quick hug. Doing a terrific job of really, we had some turnover out in the Denver market. She came in, she spent some time out at Newmont. Now she's the market consulting director for our Denver office, and we're building up a team there. The team is really cohesive and moving forward. So thank you, Leah, for a very well-earned award.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Now, being in a remote market for a while without an office in a virtual space, developing a new market is hard. Being remote is hard. Being a leader at Tier 1 is very hard because it's a very flat organization with a lot of dynamics to it and a lot of fluidity. And Leah's leadership in getting the Denver team coalesced and taking charge in Denver this year has just been really inspiring. It's been super cool. So congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Stay here, actually. Okay, so congratulations to Leah and Caitlin. So actually, we're going to have Greg stay up here a little bit longer. And yeah, he's going to talk a little bit about our culture. So once again, welcome Greg back from his retreat in the Himalayas.
Thank you. Do we have a mic that we can use? That's okay. I'll just hold this. That's all right. So, yeah, thank you. So, well, first of all, I just want to say, anybody got a bachelor party coming up? I don't know this. No, I just want to say, thank you. I want to say thanks. I want to say thanks for supporting me through this past summer. It has just been an incredible experience, and whenever I talk to people outside of here about this, the first reaction I often hear is, "Wow, you must have an incredible team." Like, yeah, we do. It's really amazing. So I will talk a little bit about that, but I want to talk about first of all, I want to welcome you. You know, we're mid-morning already. But I want to welcome you to today and talk about what this is about. You know, if you listen to the Pulsecast, Christy talked a little bit about, this is a chance to reflect, to connect, and to celebrate, okay? This is an opportunity to step back and think about what all we've done and who we are and where we've come from. And this is about you, okay? You individually, you collectively, but you individually. I want you to think about today as a gift to you. Okay, it's a gift from the organization to you to step back and use it however you want, to reflect, to connect, to celebrate. I was talking to Jerry and I went for a walk the other day. I was talking to him, like, one of the things I was thinking about this summer is the need to be a gracious receiver of gifts. I don't think I've personally been that. But one theme I've thought a lot about is how important it is for people to contribute to others, to do things for others. And for that to actually be allowed to happen, you have to receive it gracefully. And whether that's something or a favor or whatever. So think about this today as a gift for you and receive it however you choose to. And there's no prescription for it, okay? We're going to be here all afternoon. We're going to be here, a lot of us are going to be here tonight. And for those, I think there's a lot raise their hand that have never been here before. So I want to give you a little bit of preview. I did this last year of kind of what you might experience today, especially tonight. Okay, so you got your extroverts here like Karen and Jeremy Goebel. And I mean, today is like cocaine for them. I mean, it is like, this is like the most exciting thing that they've ever done. And there's a lot of them out there, right? You got other introverts like myself, and I know Jerry, and you know, if I were here in my first couple months, I'd be like, oh crap, I don't want to be here. I want to sit in the corner. I hope I don't have to dress up stupid, and too late for that. You know, I don't want to do any silly activities. I don't want to do 10 seconds of random dancing. I just want to stay to myself, and that's okay. Okay. Now, for me, I would have got through that day, and I would have spent time with a few people. I would have met some cool people, and those relationships would have lasted. So whether you're an introvert or extrovert, make it the way you want it to be. Now, tonight will be a different story. There will be all kinds of people doing different things. You'll get, Katie Kuckendorfer will start doing tequila shots, and Courtney will bring out the vodka, and she'll be dancing, and but you'll have, Jerry will find a couple guys and go smoke a cigar and drink some club soda, and Rod Ford will stay out late, but he'll drink iced tea, and Karen and Eric and Loader and Ralph and Daniel will stay out really late, and they'll drink something else, and you'll get all walks of people doing all kinds of things. Do what you want to do. You'll get normal sneak off. You'll sneak home without saying goodbye because you don't want anybody to know you actually left. I'll bring out the includer strength in me, and I'll go find Ralph and have a cigarette with him and a shot of tequila with Katie, and I'll have an iced tea with Rod and try to make everybody happy if I can. But it's fun, but do what you want. There's no prescription. And it really is a day for you to enjoy. So the ACM, when we started this, we originally called it the BFP, but I was told I'm not allowed to say effing, so we changed it. Yeah, so yeah. No. But it's always been a big party, right? This has always been it's a celebration. It's our meeting, but it's also a big party. But I always also have to do my annual disclaimer of don't be a dumbass, okay? If you drink, don't drive. Go, stay here, take Uber. Serious about that, no exceptions. I think you know the severity of that. So on to better things. So this is 15 years for us as a company, which is just amazing. It's just absolutely amazing. Norm talked about how we started, and it's incredible to think about. And I get the question a lot of, I get this several times a year, and from recruits and other people outside here who will come in and look at everything Tier 1 has and just kind of look at what Tier 1 is, and they'll be like, did you ever envision this? Did you ever envision this happening? And my honest answer to them is it's always, yeah, I actually did. This is pretty, in fact, I would say I envisioned it happening a lot faster. And people are kind of surprised by that answer. And I don't know if I envisioned it happening faster because I always wonder if it's arrogance or ignorance. But I did. And people are like, how is that? And the reason it is because we always believed, go get great people, talent attracts talent, put them in a place where they can work together and do what they're great at doing, get the bureaucracy and red tape and bullshit out of the way, and let them do what they're great, and you're going to create value. And the rest of it's just a big math problem. And it's not even a complicated math problem. But that was the belief. And in large part, I still believe that. It's not overly complex. I'm amazed by how many businesses make it more complex than it needs to be. But it's not overly complex. But here's what I didn't envision. I didn't envision having partners who would stand with me through how hard it was when I didn't expect it to be, and who were there through the hardest times that I've gone through. I didn't envision people like Carrie Headley or Jamaica Gilmwater or Roman or some of the people who were there at the very beginning who just stuck with us and said, we're going to go do this. I didn't envision making a friend and a colleague who beat leukemia 3 times. I didn't envision the acquisition and integration and motion plan and the fear that we all had on both sides of doing this thing and the courage to bring it together and the lasting relationships and friendships that have happened as a result of that. I didn't envision losing a colleague that we loved. I didn't envision all the challenges people went through. I didn't envision all the births and the engagements and the marriages and all the celebrations and connections that people made with each other. I didn't envision the creative energy that would come together and the stuff that would come out of that. That stuff's amazing. And I absolutely did not envision how it was going to impact me. I had no idea. And I don't know, I definitely didn't envision how it was going to impact others as well. And that to me is the coolest thing that we've got, and it's what this is about. And I've come to realize along the way that work is not about that formula, that math problem that creates value and captures value that we learn about in economics class, which is cool and important, and we'll talk about that plenty over time. Work is the context that brings us together. It is about the interactions that we have. It is about the impact that we have on each other and on other people. It's just the context that allows us to interact to do that. And I think that's a very important thing to think about when you go through your day and think about the work that you do. Today, you know, whenever we do this every year, there's discussion about kind of what are we doing and what's our strategy and can we go back over that. And I talked to Christy a little bit about this, and I opted not to spend much time on that today. I'm going to touch on it a little bit, and I don't know if we have the handouts that they're out there. So I just want to call attention to, we have a 2-pager that explains a lot of this stuff. And this stuff is important, okay? This explains everything from the 5 pillars that that set the foundation for Tier 1 around aggressive growth and high performance, high impact culture. It talks about the values that we have and how we interact. It talks about the goals that we have of $100 million of value created and 500 lives touched. It talks about the 6 disciplines that we bring together to create value for clients and how that comes together into a business model of agility and adaptability and creates a unique value proposition. It talks about how our markets become centers of growth and centers of how we bring that value to market, okay? And it talks about where you fit into this. This is really important stuff. I wanted to call attention to the fact that we have a 2-pager. We touch on it a lot in the Pulse, and we touch on it a lot in PulseCast. And I'm happy to talk in great depth about any piece on this. And if there's something you want to hear us talk more about at some point, send me or John Herman an email, and we'll get to it. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it today, though. And the reason is because this is what we do. And it's important. Doing great work is important, okay? But today is about who we are. Today is about why we're here, okay? That's what we want to spend our energy on today. You okay with that? Okay. So, got a lot of questions about this sabbatical thing. Those were all good ideas, by the way, the 15 things. And Stu, I think I might co-write that bourbon book with you. I know there's going to be a lot of avid readers of that. But I didn't do that. I did do a few things, and I've got a lot of questions about what did you do and how did it go. And so I'm going to touch on it a little bit. I don't want to take too much time today, but I am going to talk a little bit about it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the reflections I had about what I learned from that experience and some thoughts for how you might take that and think about today and beyond. So what I do, I put it into 4 buckets of what I did. And this was the biggest driver to me. I wanted to spend time with my family. Years ago, I thought, wouldn't it be cool as the kids get older just to be able to spend a summer with them? I mean, this goes back years. I just thought that would be a fun, cool experience to me. And I just always had a desire for it. And I thought it would happen naturally because honestly, I thought someday Tier 1 would come to a exit, or I don't know, Norm would fire me, or I don't know, but something would happen. And so as I realized it wasn't going to happen, I drove towards this idea of taking a summer off. And so this was cool. There was nothing monumental about it. It was awesome, okay? I went to my football. Thank you. I traveled quite a bit. I would have traveled some anyway. I traveled a little bit more. I counted it up. We went to, I think I did 7 trips, almost 30 nights in different places, just in the country, nothing radical. It was great, some by myself, some with others. I was thinking about I slept at friends' houses, family houses, lodges, hotels, on a sailboat, on a houseboat, in an RV, and in a tent. So I guess you sum it up and say I slept around. So this is probably the biggest category that was energizing to me. I did a lot of new things. I went into this being like, this is an opportunity to change the perspective on things and to look at the world a little bit differently. So some of them, I grew a beard. It was really ugly. I mean, this is a bad picture of a bad beard. My daughter, Kylie, who's 10, hated it. She begged me every day to shave it. And even the other day, she looked at a picture. I don't think it was this one, but she looked at a picture and said, Dad, I saw that picture of you with a beard. It really was bad. So, all right. I did out backcountry camping with a buddy of mine. We hiked some of the Appalachian Trail, learned and read a lot all about that. Took golf lessons, played a lot of golf. I took piano lessons and learned a bit about music. I actually gave up beer for 30 days, but believe it or not. And that lasted about 10 days. And then I tried other drinks. And if you're wondering, I did not steal this picture from Scarlett Meadows' Instagram or Facebook site, because if you follow Scarlett, Scarlett's got two great boys. I know them; they're great kids. Yet, unlike most people, she puts mostly pictures of her drinks on Instagram instead of her kids, which is okay by itself. But when it's like 9 o'clock on a Tuesday, I worry about it. Except this summer, I found it inspiring. 9 o'clock on a Tuesday. Here's a drink. Yeah, good idea. So, and I actually did some woodwork and built a coffee table. So I did a bunch of new things, and this was really a cool experience. This was the most about me thing I could say, and honestly, I loved it, and I'm so appreciative to everybody for giving me the chance to do it. Yeah, I didn't change the heading on this one, but that's okay. This said, I reflected and envisioned, and so I read a ton. These are some of the books I read. I read some junk that really had nothing to do with anything, which was fun. And I spent time talking to a lot of executives and CEOs that I know. I just get together with them for beer, or coffee, or whatever throughout the summer, and that was fun. And I love doing that. Those of you know me, it was just really engaging. Kind of step back. What's the big picture here? So I'll share with you some thoughts of things I took away from that. Okay, and I call this Reflections on a Healthy Work Life, because that's a big part of what this was about for me. And the first was, work really matters in so many ways. People need to work. I was a week or two in, and I felt this void of not contributing meaningfully to anything. And then as I read and connected the dots on things, I found that, one of the most fulfilling things, and there's research about this, one of the most fulfilling things in life that creates a good well-being in a given day, is whether or not you did something meaningful to contribute to others. And that made sense to me. I spent time with my dad. I had lunch with him. He worked till he was 79, worked 58 years. And 29 years for one company, 29 years for another company. I honestly don't think he ever took more than a week off in a row. Certainly not more than 2 weeks. And I find that amazing. So I told a friend of mine that, and he said, yeah, your dad's thinking you're a big pussy. So it's like, fortunately, he's just a super sweet, compassionate guy, and he was really supportive. But I got it. When I talked to him, I got it. And he was like, I love the people I work with. I loved what I get to do. And I never wanted to stop. So work matters. Find your rhythm. So there's a guy, Brian Tome. He's the pastor at Crossroads. I don't go there, but many of you may know him. It's a big church here in town. Who apparently takes every summer off as a sabbatical. And several people said, you ought to talk to Brian Tome before you do this. So Brad connected me with him. And I walked in, and Brian said to me, I never met him. I sat down on his couch and started talking a little bit. And he's like, so tell me about your rhythms. I was like, dude, I ain't got no rhythm. And he's like, no, what are your rhythms? How do you rest? How do you interact with your family? What do you like to do? How do you? And I honestly didn't have a very good answer, but I thought about that a lot this summer. And as much as anything, this was about resetting my rhythm. People were like, oh, you must have been burned out. And it's like, I wasn't burned out. I wasn't burned out at all. But I was off kilter. And there is something to this, having a rhythm about your work and about your family and about yourself. And that combination, and it changes over time. It gets disrupted, because you have kids and your job changes and roles change and responsibilities change and projects change and your own life changes, the things you're interested in, what you want to do. And I think it is really important to find your rhythm, know what your rhythms are, and to really keep them calibrated. Embrace a new perspective. So this goes back to trying new things. I found so much energy out of thinking like a novice, of thinking about new things. And I think about this from a change perspective. Growth requires change. You have to embrace the change to really enjoy the growth. And I saw it with my kids too. We all talk about, or at least I did, you just want to hold on to the ages they're at. You don't want them to change. You don't want them to grow. You just love it. And yet I had a different perspective this summer. I was just like, it's cool watching them change. It's cool watching them grow. It's cool, you know, Christy talks about the purpose of the struggle, and I'm like, it's cool watching them struggle, frankly. But you got to embrace a different mindset, and we have to, because we're changing a lot, and we're asking a lot of people to change with us. So embracing a new perspective is really important, and you got to be willing to do it. If you want to grow, you got to be willing to do it. Organizations are living organisms. I think this is important because, and it goes back to the work matters as well. Too much angst exists in the world between people and the company that they work for. And there's a lot of talk about they, and I hate that company, or the company is just draining, or they work me to death. And when we start thinking about an organization as its own living organism, Tier 1 is an organism that has a soul and a purpose and has character. We call that culture, but it's character. And it has a value system. And that we collectively contribute to it while we're here, even after we're gone. You have a whole different light of it. You have a nurturing about it. It's almost like a family member. Like, it's not you, it's its own organism, but you contribute to it in every way. And it totally changes the way you think about what Tier 1 or any organization can do or can be. Coming back to work, the relationship you have with where you work here, obviously, but if it's ever anywhere else, or if it's not healthy, it needs to be healthy. Because it's just like a relationship with another person. Make Tier 1 personal. I thought about this whole sabbatical. I talked about people would be like, oh, are you going, welcome back from the Himalayas, right? I get that stuff a lot. Like, what, are you going to climb Kilimanjaro? Or I'm like, no, I didn't do anything radical, but I did what I wanted to do. And that was the coolest thing about it. I don't have any regrets about it. I talked to several CEOs, and one of the questions they asked me is like, are you thinking about going somewhere else? Why do you stay? And I honestly hadn't I get that question a lot. I got a lot, I don't know if you're thinking about leaving. I was like, it never crossed my mind. Never crossed my mind to leave until people started asking me about it. And I'm like, maybe it should. And when I thought about it, I thought, the reason I stay is because anything I can envision wanting to do, I can do here. And so can other people. It's a platform for people to fulfill their dreams, to realize their potential. That's what our vision is the realization of potential. It's not easy. I can't make it happen tomorrow. I can't, honestly, one of the things I've thought about before is like, I would love to lead $1 billion company. Not because there's anything magic about the number, but because I'm interested in knowing if some of the things that we've learned scale at that, and how can we apply it. But then I'm like, well, let's make Tier 1 $1 billion company, And it's not going to happen next year, probably. But don't worry, Anna. But it could happen. But whatever you dream, make it personal. Make it be what you want it to be. And then the last thing was, I think we got to double down on who we are. We're doing some things right. We often get, you guys are all high performers, and everybody's so self-critical and and we see all the things that we want to do differently. And Ryan's talk was awesome, and because you're wrapped up in all the things that we do right or things that we do wrong, and you can't separate it all. But the principles behind what we're trying to do are right. We're making a difference, and it doesn't mean they're perfect, and it doesn't mean we've got them all figured out, and they absolutely need to evolve. But there's a lot about it that we got to double down on. So those are 6 of my reflections. When I bring it together, I think about that has to do with a healthy individual, and I think about what's a healthy organization. And to me, we come back to one comment or expression that's came up. It comes up a lot. It's come up over my life a lot. It's come up recent about this idea of maximizing shareholder value. You guys heard that expression before? Do you know who it's attributed to typically? It's a guy named Milton Friedman. He's a Nobel Prize-winning Chicago economist who years ago I thought, man, that guy knows everything. Now I think he's an idiot. That's extreme. But I fundamentally disagree with him because he says you have to maximize profit. That is fun. All that an organization is about is maximizing profit and returning it to shareholders. And he has his logic for doing it. But what he misses is that the organization is about the people. It's not about the shareholders. And as Anna well put it, we talked about this earlier in the week, maximizing value for shareholders is not the same thing as simply maximizing share price. It's about looking at all the things that affect us as an organization and having the healthy balance of them. You have to have profit. Profit's the fuel. It's the oxygen that allows that living organization to breathe. You have to have it. And if you don't have it, frankly, you're not doing much. So you need it's evidence that you're creating value. But what it's really about is making an impact. And so I thought about this too. And we talk about our purpose a lot, helping people do their best work. We talk about our vision of realizing potential. Those are really meaningful things. I had this conversation with Brad this summer. He said, you know, those are really cool things. Sometimes it's hard to connect to it. Yeah, I know that when we do work for Delta or Procter & Gamble, that those people's lives are better because we're making them better at what they do and we're enriching their skills and we're helping them grow professionally and it carries on to their lives and it reduces stress. I know that, but sometimes it's hard to keep that in mind. I was like, you're right. But I think there's 5 different categories, and you might come up with others, that you can think about today and beyond of how you make an impact. And the first one is impact on each other, how you treat each other. Do you give people the benefit of the doubt? Do you assume positive intent? Are you willing to overlook the flaws in the people that you don't really like because they're going to be around? How do you impact it? Are you willing to help take stress off their plate? Are you willing to help make their life a little bit easier? Do you make that a priority? On our culture, how do you contribute to the culture? So if each other is literally each person, our culture is the person of Tier 1. How do you help Tier 1 be a better organization? How do you advocate for it? How do you live an example? How do you contribute to that? Then there is this central piece of our clients. Our vision does matter. Our purpose does matter. Our mission does matter. We do impact clients' lives, and let's not forget that. Then there's other organizations. Being a voice of who we are and helping spread ideas about healthy organizations is a meaningful impact. Whether that's speaking at conferences or blogging online or just getting your ideas out there, the bigger we get, the more we grow, the more people we're able to touch. And then finally, there's our communities, what we're doing with the Red Cross. Jen Price and I have talked about this, our whole GIVE group. There's an expression that many organizations use, and they talk about giving back. I hate that expression. And the reason I hate it is because it implies, well, once I'm successful and get to a certain place, then I'll give something back, you know? And I know people don't mean it that way, usually. But it kind of implies that. Whereas you need to be giving all along the way. And I learned a lot of this from Norm and Kevin. Like from day one, we had nothing to give, but we gave whatever we could. You know, we were involved in our communities, we gave our time, and it makes things more enriching because you make a difference. And the bottom line of all of this is if you want work to be meaningful, the way to do it is to impact other people. You can pick, you don't have to do something in all these areas your whole career or this year or this month. You can pick different ones that you're passionate about. But these are different ways to engage. And if you want a happier daily life, if you want more meaningful work, and again, read a lot of research on this, and it came down to, Gallup actually did a study. People who make more than $75,000 a year, at that point, money has no effect on their daily well-being. And even below that, it's most of those who have any effect is below $40,000 a year. So there's a financial need. After that, it has almost no drive. The fundamental thing that made an impact on people's daily well-being and how they felt about life was whether or not they were contributing to others. And these are the ways you do it, or they are ways to do it. So I'll leave those as something to think about. I am energized by this because this is what we are about as an organization, is creating an impact on others. It's realizing the potential. It's always been what we've been about. From the very first day we started, we didn't really even know. We articulated some of this years later, but realizing the potential of ourselves, realizing the potential of people we draw in here, realizing the potential of our clients, that's what we're about. Along the way, we will make a profit. We'll create value, we'll make a profit, and everybody here will benefit from it. And frankly, a healthy organization is going to outperform any other organization any day of the week financially. You don't chase the end game. Bill Walsh has a book that says the score will take care of itself, you know, the 49ers coach, and I love that title because The financial part, with any semblance of decent management, and I'm pretty confident we've got good management, with any semblance of that, will take care of itself. You focus on doing the things right along the way, and we'll get there. So, some things to think about. Christy, how are we? Yeah, so I want to just leave it kind of open. If anybody wants, we'll take 5 or 10 minutes of questions. If anything, reactions you have, thoughts, questions, comments, things you want me to touch on that I didn't, happy to do it. Jim. Is there any? I'll just repeat them, Christy. It's fine. Is there anything I didn't do during the sabbatical that I wish I had? Not really. I have really zero regrets. I mean, marginal one. The very end, when Hurricane Harvey hit, had I thought about it a little bit faster and earlier, I would have gone down there. I think that would have been really cool. And this was when I was backcountry hiking, so I didn't even know the whole story at the time. But no. Thank you. Ralph. Favorite moment with my kids? It was probably when we were out west in the RV trip. I don't know if it was a single moment. We did a bunch of hikes, and again, my daughter Kylie's like, hiking is the stupidest thing. It's just walking up and down hills. Why do they call it hiking? And so one of them was, we hiked up from the Grand Canyon, and to distract her, I had to ask her about her Percy Jackson book. She recited all the way up the hill. She's in great shape. She plays soccer. So she didn't take a breath. I'm like dying. And she's like, she recited the entire book to me of one of the Percy Jackson books all the way up the hill. And I'm like, all right, can you stop talking, please? But it made her happy. So it will be a memorable one. No, who was that? Oh, sorry. I am going to keep playing piano. I'm really bad. Someone asked me if I will play. I will not. But it's something I have wanted to do forever, and I love it. So, thank you. I will. All right, thank you. What did I miss the most? You know what? The creative energy. Being around people here, just even walking in the office, is just an energy that's contagious, and I did miss that. I really did. I actually found, you talk about things that are thought-provoking, I found I didn't think very well because I didn't have the provocation. That may sound weird, but I was like, we talk about thought igniters. There's something to that. Like, you need something to spark the thinking process. I'm sorry? That's right. You know, something. Yeah. So, there's somebody else. Jeremy? What I learned from being a student, I just remembered how much I took for granted. You know, like, I almost feel embarrassed to say this, Jeremy, but so many people join Tier 1 every year, and it's new, and you're learning all this new stuff, processes, systems, tools, culture, all this stuff. I forgot how hard that is, you know, just how much energy it takes, and I just haven't learned anything. I've learned lots of new knowledge over the years. I hadn't learned any new skill, how to do anything, and so that was really refreshing. Leah, did you? Was the piano or golf teacher need help with the curriculum? I don't know. My piano teacher's great. My golf teacher was but maybe that's the student. I don't know. Karen's? The biggest impact on Kay? That's a great question. You know what? You'd have to ask Kay that. But I will say in many ways this was a real gift to her too, because it was a crazy summer with the kids. And I'm sitting there the whole time like, how are you going to do this without me? You know, like, I'm running the kids everywhere and gave me appreciation for her. But I know she really felt she was able to free up a lot of time and energy to actually enjoy a summer versus just being a taxi driver. So, Gina. Katie, about her time at Tier 1. Well, that's a funny story. So my daughter Katie was an intern here this summer, and so first of all, she loved the people she worked. She was like, everybody was so sweet. Now, inside the house was a whole different story. She was angry with me from the beginning because she's like, I'm 17, I don't know anything, I can't contribute, I can't believe you're sending me out here. And on top of that, she was crazy busy, and she really was. So she was mad at me. She was outright mad at me. But I've told a couple people this, and she just wrote an essay for a Villanova scholarship, and my wife read it, and then she's like, can I show it to Dad? And she goes, Yeah, but he can't be happy about it. And it really was this experience of being able to express her voice and having to, to step up and have the courage to articulate her ideas about something. And so it was really cool. So thank you all who worked with her. It actually really made me, I said this to Laura, it really made me think about wanting to do more for our kids in that light, especially at that age. It really ended up being a neat experience. I learned how not to do it, so I think we could do it differently, but it was good. So, anything else? Okay. Well, Laura. Yeah. Laura. So one of the highlights, it was super cool. My dad got to throw out the first pitch at the Reds game here, which was awesome. And we bought it for him at a charity auction, and then he didn't want to do it because he couldn't lift his arm up, which I felt bad about. But then our whole family got to come down here. They all got to go on the field. My son threw the pitch in honor of him. They put him up on the scoreboard. He actually managed the construction project to build the stadium. So that was a really cool experience. Yeah, that was super cool. So, but again, I can't say it enough. Just thank you. You guys are amazing. I feel so proud to be able to talk to other people about, I walked away and I wasn't worried about it one bit. I wanted to call this out, so I'll do it now. I want to call out Anna and Brian. Stand up. Brian, Jerry, Karen, and John. Jerry, stand up. These guys, I threw a lot at them and I walked away, and I asked them to kind of take leadership for every functional area, and they did it, and it was awesome, and they came together as a team and grew as a team, and it was just really cool to hear about it, and I feel so appreciative of them. Again, so many people were like, how could you do that? I'm like, it was easy. That part was easy because I got incredible people who are leading, and it's tough to lead here. I think of these 5 as our kind of our senior managers. We got lots of senior leaders, but they each have a functional area, and yet we ask them to orchestrate and coordinate systems and processes, but not micromanage, be an advisor, and help articulate problems and opportunities. That's a tough space. We'll talk more about that as we go, but I'm so appreciative of everyone, but especially these 5. So, all right, thank you. I hope these give you some things to think about today and beyond, and excited for what's next.
Thank you, Greg. Yep, we're going to take a break now. How long is it going to be? Do we have the full 10 minutes? Okay. See you in 10 minutes.